Hi guys, here's my quick post-match reaction to Ireland beating Wales 24-14. Ireland overall deserved winners, played much better than Wales for most part and didn't make as many mistakes. The key deciders for me were three areas: set piece, the execution of basics consistently enough over 80 minutes, and defence. Ireland won in all three departments of that game. The first try of the match came from Jordan Larmour, set move off a scrum. They went through the phases, came to Larmour, he stepped inside. It was criminal defending by Nick Tompkins, to be fair. He rushed up too much and then he got his timing and his technique with the tackle all to pot. Allowed Larmour to step round him, step back inside round Thomas Williams, and then two Welsh tacklers, which are Halfpenny and Adams, couldn't stop him scoring the try. Brilliant try, absolute fuck up of a conversion from Sexton, to be fair. But then Wales got back into it and they took the lead through an absolutely brilliant piece of play. Not much Ireland could have done about Wales's first try, to be fair. It was brilliant offload from Alan Wynne-Jones back into Dan Biggar after Dan Biggar passed it to him. Biggar went through, he offloaded it to Thomas Williams. Thomas Williams hit a great line, cut back inside and went to score close to the post, and then Biggar converted, so 7-5 to Wales then. Ireland then got back on top of the game. Wales just making mistakes, giving away too many penalties, and Ireland putting pressure on them, and then, well, pardon me, it came off quite close to it being 7-5, and then Wales made a mistake off the line out, dropped the ball, Ireland got a scrum, they got a penalty advantage of a scrum, went through a couple of phases, did very well to use Bundyaki as they did, to be fair, used him as the first point of attack, straightened up the line, drawing a few tacklers, went out to tag Furlong, he scored the try, and it made it 12-7 to Ireland at half-time. And on the whole, I was really impressed with Ireland's tactics, I've got to say. They were getting the balance right with their set pieces. They were exploiting Wales's defence, which looked very narrow for large parts of the game, and they were shifting the ball wide a lot more than you usually expect from Ireland, and they spotted that very well. They must have spotted something from the Italy game there, and they were using that to good effect in this game. So in the second half, Wales kept making mistakes, too many basic knock-ons, and then a bad throw-in from Ken Owens off a line-out. Ireland turned it over. They eventually got enough pressure on, put Wales back, got a corner, got a penalty, pardon me, went for the corner off the penalty, set up a driving maul, and then went through with the maul. Josh van der Fleer getting the touchdown there. It looked okay to me from what I could see. I couldn't see the ball extremely clearly, but it looked like there was a bit of ground and contact with the grass over the line from what I could see of it, so I was happy enough with that. 19-7, and then the non-try from Hadley Parks was very marginal. I think it was after an Ian Henderson high tackle about the halfway line. Wales got a penalty, kicked it upfield, worked the ball through a few phases, then went again, and Hadley Parks went over, stretched over, and it was judged to be a knock-on by the TMO. I thought it was marginal, because I thought as the ball hit the ground, his third finger and his pinky were still in contact with the ball as it hit the ground, so I thought it was a close call. I can understand why they give it the way they did, but that's the way it went. So stayed at 19-7, and also then after that, Ireland managed to get the pressure on. Wales again making far too many mistakes. Ireland capitalising on them very well. Ireland got a scrum after Wales tried to play out from their own 22. George North dropped it. Ireland scrum. They set up the scrum really well, went through a few phases, drew in the defenders. Brilliant basic rugby, and then where you draw the defenders in, create holes on the outside, and then they spotted Andrew Conway with a overlap on the outside, went to Conway on the wing, and he went and scored in the corner to give Ireland the bonus point. Justin Tipuric got a late consolation for Wales at the end off a driving maul, good maul to be fair, and then he stretched out legally and scored the try. Halfpenny converted to make it 24-14. So on the whole, I think Ireland looked very good, to be fair. They were executing their basics brilliantly, as I said. Their set pieces were really good. Their driving maul was really good. Their tactics were very good. I mean, I think in the first 5 minutes, Jacob Stockdale touched it the ball more in the first 5 minutes than he did in the whole 80 minutes against Scotland, which is telling for how Ireland were playing so differently and how they were so much better in using the width as they did. Conor Murray, to be fair, had a lot better game than they did last week, although I still think John Cooney's pass when he came on, albeit it was only 7 minutes, does look a bit faster. CJ Stander, again, had an absolute beast of a game. He was all over Wales at the breakdown for the most part. Apart from right after he was named the man of the match, he got a yellow card for getting his timing wrong right at the end. I think Poit had enough of them by then, because they've been a few of the Irish players have been mouthing it off at him a bit up until that point. And that's lead me on to another thing. Jonathan Sexton, I think you're a really good player. You're a really smart rugby player, but as a captain, that is no example to set. The way you speak to referees sometimes, the way you approach them, and then that Hadley Park non-try, the way you so visibly went up, not directly to the referee. I understand he was maybe trying to gee his players up, but the manner in which he was right beside the referee and just clapping like that so loudly right towards the referee's microphone, I thought, no, I've got no time for that at all. I don't respect that whatsoever. And then there was other times he was talking back to the referee and trying to, manipulate him and that. And I mean, I understand all captains do it to an extent, which I'm not saying is always necessarily right. I understand teams want to do the best for their team, but the way Sexton was doing it, I just like, nah. I mean, I've got no respect for you there, mate. Sorry. I mean, if you want to set an example for the kids watching, stop being so cynical. I think, respect the referee's calls, work with them, and I mean, he's got to do better. I mean, it got to the point where I thought, Romain Poit, you should be putting him on a final warning there. But that's my opinion there. I think I didn't respect the way Sexton was speaking to Romain Poit for most of the game when he was on the pitch, I think. But aside from that, Ireland, I think, can be pleased with their performance. Roll on England in a couple of weeks, I say, for them. And they're looking good. I mean, and they've got a bit of momentum behind them now. 2 home wins, very good. Wales, it's a step backwards. I thought, as I said, too many mistakes in attack, too many knock-ons, set pieces, similar for the most part to what they were last week, all over the shop. Ireland just were so much better in the set pieces. Also, at the breakdown, Ireland dominated that. I mean, I know there was a few turnovers from Wales early on. I thought both Tipperick and Alan Wynne-Jones had excellent defensive games. In attacks, they, apart from the first try for Thomas Williams, neither were really effective as much, and I don't think that was entirely their fault, to be honest with you. I think the whole team has to take responsibility there. But, I mean, as I said, Wales, they kept trying to play it and play loose, and they just kept shooting themselves in the foot too often, and how much of that is players being too used to how Gatlin wants them to play, and how much they're trying to transition into the way Pivac wants them to play. It's so. I mean, I think, there were some things you can get away with against Italy. Against Ireland, who were brilliant defensively today, you've got to be a bit smarter, I think. And there was times Wales just didn't get it right with the execution. Nick Tompkins, I said he was a good option at 13 before the game, but he didn't have a good game at all today. I mean, I understand. I think he should be given another go because he's got talent, but a couple of really simple, bad and yet bad mistakes proved very costly from him from Wales's point of view. So going into the game in Paris in a couple of weeks, Wales need to get back to basics, both with their handling skills and with their defence as well, to be fair. They defended so narrow for so much of the game. I think I can sort of understand why, because they were trying to target Ireland at the breakdown a lot more, but they were still, when it didn't work, they were exploited out wide. Ireland spotted it there, so that's where they need to improve. Anyway, I think that's all I've got to say, guys. Hope you like what I had to say. That was a good game to watch from a neutral's point of view. Roll on Scotland, England. I'm off to see that now. Take care, and I'll catch you later on.